Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. And I come to you from the Circular Quay, the beautiful Circular Quay of Sydney. The clouds have lifted, the sun is breaking through, the magnificent jacaranda trees are expressing their beauty with their mauve and lilac flowers. We've got the council workers colouring the circles for social distancing. Who would have thought that we ever got to this point where people would have to paint circles on the grass to show us where to sit in order to keep distance from other groups? Just a very sad state of affairs, but that's the world we live in at the moment, and hopefully it'll be a temporary sort of measure and not something which becomes, as people seem to think, a new normal. Because if this is a new normal, then we're in big trouble, because we are social beings, and by distancing people, by spreading them apart, by not enabling us and them to mingle, will make our lives very, very awkward indeed. Anyway, let's go on a bit of a walk and talk, a bit of a chat. And I'm down here at the Rocks, and what I'll do is I'll just head up along the walkway past the Museum of Contemporary Art and kick off a topic for today. And don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'll pick something. So given that I started talking about clouds, I might continue along that vein. And the first thing that comes to mind when I'm talking about clouds is I remember distinctly the first time I ever flew in an aeroplane. It was back in 1974. I was 14 years of age, and believe it or not, I went on a rugby tour of Queensland. So we flew from Sydney to Brisbane to play rugby up in Brisbane against another team. So we had some matches in Sydney, so they flew down to Sydney and we had a couple of matches, and then we flew back to Brisbane a couple of weeks later and continued with another few matches just to I guess share the experience. And what I absolutely loved about that experience was that I was billeted by a family in Brisbane, where I stayed with them during the rugby tour, spent some time, and got to know another family. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I was playing for Oatley in their under-15s team, and I remember they were shy of a few players, and they were going on this tour, and a friend of mine, Kevin Juice, asked me if I wanted to play, because we played in the same team at Newington, and I said why not. So what a great opportunity to get away. And I think it was the first time that I travelled and was away from my family and away from relatives. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. But one thing I will never forget is that first flight, the experience of that first flight. Taking off, I remember it was a TAA aeroplane, and unlike the planes of today, which are all white, it was a silvery colour, very similar to this statue. This statue here at the Museum of Contemporary Art. It was shiny, it was new, and it coupled with that beautiful new experience of going up and away with TAA. Never forget that. And the thing that really impressed me, the thing that sticks in my mind, was being up in the sky there and being above the clouds, because it's a different perspective, and for a young person, for a young man, it's an awesome perspective to be up above the clouds. and to realize that there is blue sky. There is blue sky everywhere, as long as you get high enough. So, which leads us into the next sort of thing that I want to talk about, is that your attitude becomes your altitude. So if you become high enough in your thinking, if you go beyond your current challenges and problems, then, as I said, there is clear blue sky up above all the clouds. The other thing I noticed the other day, which got me thinking, was just down here where I was, or where I am now, was an absolutely brilliant blue sky. And then slowly one little cloud came and disrupted the clear blueness of the sky, and then another cloud materialized and joined on to the previous cloud, and before you knew it, other clouds started drifting in and started attaching to the clouds that were in the sky, and before you knew it, the sun was blacked out, the sky was grey, then the clouds got thicker and thicker, darker and darker, and it started raining. And I said to myself, what a metaphor in terms of life, in terms of how we are as people, because it matches very, very similarly, if you want to care to look at it that way, to the problems and concerns and worries that we have in our life, because one problem brings another problem. Like as they say, you are what you focus on, and if you're focusing on problems, on negativity, on what's not going well in your life, on challenges, and all the bad stuff that's happening around us, that's highlighted by the media, by politics, by friends who are negative, by some toxic people that we have in our lives. Sooner or later, that blue sky that you have, the carefree world, that relaxed mode that you have, is interrupted and shaped by the problems that either other people bring into your life, or the problems that you bring into your life through the things that you think of and the things that you focus on. Because like those clouds the other day, it was a blue sky, everything was well, everything was beautiful, everything was great, and then slowly one cloud came in and was joined by others, just like problems start attaching to each other, and before you know it, you're overwhelmed with heaps and heaps of problems, and you just don't know where to start. And before you know it, your day is dark, your hope is lost, the sun disappears, and then you think you'll never ever see that blue sky again. But lo and behold, if you start clearing your mind of all those negative thoughts, because scientists tell us that we have about 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and it probably works out at a thought a second, because we're always thinking, there's always something crossing our mind, but there's also a lot of processing happening at the subconscious level that we will never understand. But if most of those thoughts, and according to scientists and psychologists, most of those thoughts are negative thoughts for most people, just think of all those clouds that are accumulating in your mind and in your head and in your soul and in your heart. No wonder so many people are depressed and just feel down on themselves. But there is a trick. You can change your focus. You can replace the negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and that light that comes with the positivity can help burn off more and more of those negative thoughts, burn off and blow away many of those clouds, so that you can clear your heart, you can clear your mind, you can clear your soul of all the bitterness and toxicity that, if not tended to, will accumulate and just make you a sad and unhappy person. So you're welcomed, you're all welcome to look at those clouds and see if you can replace them with blue sky, with sunshine, with a gentle breeze, and just move them away. Just outsource your problems and your worries to God, is what my spiritual father says. And don't burden yourself, don't overburden yourself with the stuff that is disempowering and is not going to lead you anywhere but to despair. I think that's about it from me. So getting back to one of those points we made before, your attitude is your altitude. So think good, think positive, think empowering thoughts, and don't focus on all the negative crap that crosses your desk. You don't need to hold on to it. Just trash it, just shred it, and just throw it out as quickly as it comes in, because as we said, garbage in is garbage out. So you don't want to overload your system, you don't want to overload your life with other people's garbage or garbage that you've created through your own negative thoughts. I think we'll finish off now, but thanks very much for joining me on Jim's 5am Club. Let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, think about removing the clouds from your mind. Focus on the blue sky, focus on the sunshine, focus on the light, gentle breeze to clear your mind, and remember that your attitude is your altitude. So try and get above the clouds, above the problems, and don't get bogged down and caught up in the vortex of cloud, storm, rain, hail, lightning, and all the other things which may or may not be of your making, but certainly you can bring the solution to the problem that you're currently having, and bring the blue sky back into your day, and make sure you eliminate as many clouds as you can and push them from the closeness that they are now and throw them to the horizon and just say good riddance. Good riddance to your problems, good riddance to your worries, because they don't help us in any way. Take care, Yassas, and we'll chat again.